Hello my viewers and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, then please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up by tapping on the like button, and feel free to share your thoughts on what you think in the comment section down below. Now today we're going to be looking at a topic that's as uncomfortable as it is necessary to address. Now on my For You page, this video surfaced featuring a palm color man arrogantly ranking what he deemed as the top 10 blackest names. Yes, you heard that right. Now, with each name he listed, he not only showcased his ignorance, but also highlighted a deeper issue plaguing our society as Black people. Casual articism disguised as harmless banter. But let's be clear, there's nothing harmless about perpetuating stereotypes and reducing an entire community to a list of names, right? So, with that said, let's dissect this video, unpack the implications, and take a look into why it's important for individuals to educate themselves before their words cause harm. With that said, check out these videos as different people react to his video. I'll be right back.
Top 10 blackest girl names. Number 10 is Deja. Number 9 is Jada. And I think of Jada Pinkett Smith, of course, when I hear this name. And I'm just like, she should have stopped Will. Number 8, Jasmine. There's a lot of different ways to spell Jasmine. Number 7, Kiara. Number 6 is Raven. That's so Raven. Number 5, Aaliyah. Number 4, Precious. Okay, now when I hear Precious, I think of the movie Precious, or the novel Push by Sapphire, when Monique's standing at the bottom of the stairs and she's like, you standing on them steps like you think you're a motherfucking woman. It's one of my favorite moments. Number 3, Imani. I always talk about my friend Imani in high school who used to add sugar packets to the McDonald's sweet tea because she claimed it wasn't as sweet as it was in Georgia. And Imani, you kept it real. Number 2, Ebony. If you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment with the blackest girl name or the most common black girl name in your book. Also follow my fiance Samantha, who I've tagged. Finally, at number 1, Diamond. Number 4, Precious. Okay, now when I hear Precious, I think of the movie Precious.
But this the type of shit that go viral. Just making fun of us is the way to the riches, ain't it? I'm just saying, let's say, number 1, out of control, white woman name, Karen. Number 1, slob up a knob, white girl name, Becky with the good head. I'm just saying, we have stereotypes about you motherfuckers too. We just don't choose to use them to get ahead by degrading another race. Like, really? Scott, Mark, Justin.
No. For fuck's sake. I mean, for the sake of literally all the fucks. Why? What are you doing? Now, this is the first time that I've come across your page. I don't know who you are, but in the quick scroll that I did, listing things seems to be your thing. And I'm sure that Mr. Verified Account here is never going to see this video. But for anybody that stumbles upon this video here, do yourself a favor and go and look up the history of Black people, their names and their identities in the United States. And you'll understand why a white man making a list like that is fucking terrible. I don't care if Precious is your favorite movie. I don't care if BET is the TV channel you prefer. I don't care if you put your Sirius XM radio on the all rap channel. I don't fucking care. If you are a member of the SPF 50 and above crowd, you should not be making lists about what the most black sounding names are. You really shouldn't be making any list about any sounding names, period. Black, Asian, Middle Eastern, indigenous, it doesn't matter. I really wish that in 2024 I could say that I can't believe that somebody is making a video like this, but I can, because a lot of white people are dense, and I'm convinced that the star stuff that they're made of is neutron.
And Blackest girl names. Number 10 is...
None of your concern? It's definitely none of your concern, Jacob. First of all, learn how to correctly say phrases. Instead of blackest girl names, you could say top 10 names for black women and girls. Nobody asked for this list. I think you know that you're getting too comfortable, too close, and playing with fire, and I suggest that you stop. And it would be really nice if you could just credit some of the resources that you're using for all of these lists, because there have been several times where I've seen your videos and I've done a quick Google search, found 3 to 4 different resources that are legitimate and credible and I trust to speak truth, and it's different than what you've said for your top 10. So I don't know what resources you're looking at, but I think it's time to go ahead and list them. Don't bring anything to the cookout. You're not invited.
Girl names. Number 10 is Deja. Number 9 is Jade.
He knows exactly what he's doing here. And the problem I'm having with this is that he is not censored. But if I come on here and speak my truth on my personal experience and personality, and spirituality, and I accidentally say the politically correct name for unalive, my account is fucking for real.
Y'all, it's the fact that this man took the time out of his day to make a list of that bull crap. But let's get into it, because ain't no black girl gonna tell me a black girl name other than me, a black girl, right? Because my name is Keisha, right? And if Keisha don't hit the list, Keisha should be at the number 1. Why? Because my name is in every song. So I know y'all know Petey Pablo, and I know y'all remember that song frequently. Guess who naming there? Keisha. Now, I don't even remember this rapper name, but then this rapper got a song where he said he on Keisha. I forgot his name, but guess who named that song? Keisha. DMX got a song where he naming all these girls' names. Mind you, those are black girl names. And guess who name he named? Keisha. I know y'all saw that movie Belly with Nas and them. And guess who the main girl name was? Keisha. So I just say this to say that since the beginning of time, every song by a black man lists a whole bunch of names of black women. And on all these songs that we listen to, ain't now one of them names come up in his list of names. So I got to say that can't a non-black person tell me something about the culture of black people? Because if any name is gonna pop up in the history of blackest female names to have, guess what the top name gonna be? Keisha.
Top 10 blackest girl names. Did anybody watch the original video? Because I didn't. But now that we're on the topic of black names, I was thinking about how we're literally losing recipes when it comes to black people names. So here are my favorite black people names from the past. Starting off strong, we got Roxanne. Next, we have Dorothy. You don't really see a lot of Dorothys going around anymore. For boys, Nathaniel. I love a Nathaniel. Or a Frederick or Franklin. Henrietta. And name June. Eats. Claire. Lawrence. Mildred. Myrtle. Not to stereotype people with the name Earl, but it gives me auto body shop, like a rundown auto body shop, but everybody goes there because the business is good. Herbert and Ida, country. Bernice, I got some Bernices in my family. Michael Jackson predicted the future because most of the kids are going by names like Blanket, Throw Pillow, Berry Juice. Like, the names are so different.
So, white folks, I think it's time for us to have us another little anti-racism lesson here. Yeah. You know, many of you out here will swear up and fucking down. Put your children's lives on it. Die on that fucking hill that you do not participate in anti-blackness. That you're not racist. And you never have been. And I think you believe that because you do not understand that there's a difference in the way that you all are indoctrinated to hate us. You see, there's an active indoctrination and there's a passive indoctrination. And in active indoctrination, that is the equivalent to you sitting down at your computer and putting in a Google search, Klan meeting near me. And then you showing up at the Klan meeting, actively participating and being taught, learning how to hate us in thought and in deed. And you don't do that, right? So you're not one of them. You're not one of the bad guys. Well, there's also a passive indoctrination. And in passive indoctrination, what that means is you pretty much just take whatever falls in your lap about black people and you believe it. You go with it. You don't question it. You don't push against it. And you take these things that you've learned because they are all around you as fact. And then you teach and share these things with your children, like this bullshit about these top 10 black names. Now, this part that I stitched for a reason. Because you see how he's all talking about it, carrying on. That's the juiciest part of the fucking movie. Well, if you're a black woman, if you're a black person watching that movie, it is one of the worst parts of that movie. Horrible. Because that part of the movie shows a picture of mental illness, abuse, neglect to a child that looks like us. And none of that shit should be taken lightly. None of that shit should be turned into any kind of fucking top 10 list so y'all can make jokes about it. And you don't think anything about this content creator doing it because it's just the type of content that he pushes out, right? You will never challenge that shit. And it's a whole lot of you black folks in the goddamn comments not challenging that bullshit. And you should. Because it is disrespectful to black people as people. Because this is what I know for a goddamn fact. We're all just human. And if you had seen a white woman talk to her white child like that, you wouldn't think it was so goddamn funny, so fucking casual at all. But because it's a black woman and it shit doesn't apply to you, it just doesn't apply to you. So you just accept that shit as a truth. How many of y'all shared this fucking video? How many of you are helping him passively indoctrinate your people to hate us? And the killer part about it is TikTok will never see this as the actual hate speech that it is. But I just want you to fucking see what you're doing. Because I don't want you to feel good about yourselves when you're doing it. Now, share this like you share that fucking video. Hopefully, when you know better, you'll start to do better.
Now, it's really disheartening and infuriating to see someone, especially a palm-colored person, arrogantly compiling a list of what they perceive as the top 10 blackest names. Let's start by addressing the obvious. This act is not only ignorant, but deeply offensive. It reduces black people to stereotypes, perpetuating harmful racial biases that have plagued our society for far too long. But let's take a deeper look into why this video is so problematic. Now, names hold immense significance in the Black community. They are often rooted in cultural heritage, family traditions, and historical struggles. Throughout history, Black individuals have reclaimed names that were stripped away from them during slavery, asserting their identity and reclaiming their roots. Names like Deja, Jada, Jasmine, and Ebony carry stories of resilience, strength, and pride. The United States has a dark history of systemic racism and oppression against Black people. From slavery to Jim Crow laws to ongoing racial discrimination, Black individuals have faced countless obstacles in asserting their identities and claiming their rightful place in society. Now, in this context, for a palm-colored person to make a mockery of Black names is not just insensitive, it's a blatant disregard for the struggles and experiences of an entire community. This video highlights the pervasive issue of palm color privilege and entitlement. They so feel entitled. Now, the fact that this individual felt justified in creating such a list speaks volumes about the unchecked privilege that allows some to belittle and demean marginalized communities without consequence. It is a reminder of the systemic power dynamics at play and the urgent need for education, empathy, and accountability. This video is not just a harmless joke. It's a reflection of deep-seated racism, ignorance, and disrespect. As a Black person, I refuse to tolerate such blatant displays of racism disguised as humor. It's time for individuals to educate themselves, confront their biases, and work towards a more inclusive and respectful society for all. Many scholars have discussed Black names as an outgrowth of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, but as Logan observes, Black names are new. Many scholars believe that distinctively, Black names emerged from the civil rights movement, perhaps attributable to the Black Power movement and the later Black culture movement of the 1990s, as a way to affirm and embrace Black culture. Before this time, the argument goes, Blacks and palm-colored people had similar naming patterns. Now, historical evidence does not support this belief. Until a few years ago, the story of Black names depended almost exclusively on data from the 1960s onward. New data such as the digitization of census and newly available birth and unaliving records from historical periods allows us to analyze the history of Black names in more detail. Now, there is a wide range of research that shows the many ways African cultural practices survived, despite the injustices and constraints during slavery and the colonial and post-colonial eras. Names and naming played a role in shaping, returning, maintaining, claiming, and reclaiming an African identity and community, and at the same time shows how European slave masters and colonists used names and naming to subjugate Africans and obliterate their ancestral memory. Following the abolition of slavery, African people continued to experience human injustices. Not only were Africans denied access to their rich ancestry, but they have been underrepresented and grossly misrepresented in diasporic societies. Even today, irrefutably, there is need for more inclusion of written sources that deal with African heritage within mainstream education, as well as literature, which focuses on the impact that centuries of European domination and barbarism had on the African psyche and culture, and the broader implications at present. In addition to acknowledging the devastating effects of slavery and its aftermath, there is urgent need to also truthfully examine the various cultural identities, behavioral patterns, and practices of the oppressed populations of enslaved Africans who were subjected to such tyranny. Now, it is necessary to observe and celebrate the resilience, persistence, and significant contributions Africans made in shaping the fabric of society as a means of addressing some of the psychological and social issues that continually emerge not only as a result of slavery and colonialism, but also as a result of the subsequent years of racial injustices and the miseducation that prevail in these societies. Names have always been a significant aspect of cultural identity, serving as a reflection of heritage, values, and aspirations. For Black Americans, names carry a particularly poignant significance, intertwined with a complex history of oppression, resistance, and resilience. During the era of slavery in the United States, enslaved Black people were often stripped of their African names and given European names by their enslavers. Now, this deliberate erasure of cultural identity was a tool of dehumanization designed to sever connections to ancestral heritage and assert dominance over enslaved individuals. Despite this attempt to erase their identities, many enslaved people found ways to preserve aspects of their cultural heritage, including through naming practices. Now, some adopted African-inspired names or maintained traditional naming customs within their communities as a form of resistance and resilience. After emancipation, newly freed Black Americans faced the challenge of reclaiming their identities and asserting their autonomy in a society still steeped in racism and discrimination. Names become a powerful symbol of self-determination and pride, with many individuals choosing names that reflect their aspirations, values, and cultural heritage. During the Civil Rights Movement and beyond, the Black Power movement encouraged a resurgence of pride in African heritage and identity. Now, this cultural reclamation was reflected in naming practices, with many Black Americans choosing names that celebrated their African roots or conveyed messages of empowerment and solidarity. Today, Black names encompass a diverse range of influences, including African American, Caribbean, and Afrocentric origins. Each name carries its own unique story and significance, reflecting the rich tapestry of Black identity and experiences. In light of this history, the act of reducing Black names to a list of stereotypes is not just insensitive, it's a denial of the complexity and diversity of Black identity. It is a reminder of the ongoing struggle for recognition, respect, and equality in society, still grappling with the legacies of racism and oppression. We have finally come to the end of the video. What do you have to say? Share your thoughts as well in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.